Hey guys, this is a pre-recorded match. This is against Aerovit. It's a diamond ranked match on, I believe it was Dry Arabia. Yes, it was on Dry Arabia. So, once again, this is, we're going to try a trade horse build on our opponent here. We had pretty good success with the match before this. We did lose it, but I felt like it was definitely winnable, so we're going to kind of refine a couple of errors and try our trade horse build one more time and see how it goes. We go up the middle, we don't find any sheep here. Our opponent has scouted around his base and picked up his sheep and headed back. We hit it across. Good thing we turned around when we did. And we have an interesting spawn. We have a forward Ubu and a forward Gold right next to each other, so a little bit unfortunate in terms of how undefended this is. And then we get pretty lucky in terms of the route that our opponent runs and the route that we run. We end up running basically where he had run. So it's just if there was any sheep here, I think there was two. He missed out on those and we were able to get them before he did. We're picking up a good amount of sheep on our side of the base. And we'll see what he does. Yeah, he just doubles back on his own side. And there actually isn't a lot of sheep on this side. There's one sheep, two sheep, four sheep. So he gets a really unlucky in terms of the sheep RNG around his base. We manually just leave these to walk by. I found that it's a little bit better in saving times on your scouting route. It's not worth the 4 seconds or whatever your sheep can head back on their own. Excuse me. And we're just our basic 9-2 split here. You can see that we're doing. Picked up a sheep over here. Scouting around over there. Our opponent doesn't pick up a single sheep. So again, he gets really unlucky with his RNG on the sheep. Looks like he's gonna run into one just now though. And there is one right out here at their base. And our next villager, after our 9-2, is going on to wood. And we should be making another villager here. There we go. So we're still picking up sheep. We're getting plenty of sheep here. He's able to pick up 2. And we were able to pick up like, I don't know, like 6, 7 plus these 3. So we got like 9. So we get a really good sheep haul compared to our opponent. He doubles back here. I'm kind of curious why he doubles back with his scout. It doesn't show me his move command. I see my move commands. Oh, he must have seen that sheep by his base. That's why he doubled back and wanted to secure it. But if it had kept going here, he would have picked up possibly 3 sheeps. And so now he's actually going to miss out. He's going to miss out on 1. For sure, 100% that sheep could have been his. This other one was probably his regardless. And we're going to see if he beats us to the corner here. Yeah, he does. Once we see him, we just run towards his base. We see that he grabs a sheep back there, so we're not too worried about it. Over here, we're going to go to our vision real quick. See that I see his base. I dropped this to just the backside of this tree line for his town center. And we see he's tapping up with the council hall. I couldn't tell with how many villagers. I only saw 1 on there. We see that he was tapping up with 3. And we decide to aggro his villagers here a little bit. He shoots back, so it's not really worth for us to stick around and try to fight this. So we just keep moving. And yeah, he's going over and he's been able to pick up basically, this is his 3rd sheep, 4th sheep, his 4th sheep of the match. And we're coming up the middle, and these sheep that he didn't get on the double back route, we're able to pick up. That's 8 more sheep. So we got a really good sheep haul on this game, like a really good sheep haul, which is huge for food for us. And we've also scouted almost the entire map at this point. Our stable is up. Double Keshik production is on the way. And we're going to take our Khan, and we're rallying him over to finish scouting around the front of his base. You can see our opponent is checking around over here. And let's see what he's doing. He's getting his house up, collecting wood. So with English, they can turtle, go defensive for a fast castle. They can drop second TC. There's a lot of plays that they can go for. So we're gonna see what we can find. We find another sheep here. So we've picked up nearly every sheep at 4. So that means 60 sheep. We do spot his scout here. We do have our 2 Keshiks heading over to gold. We decided to raid gold first. Scout on the way. Double production Keshiks, another set of double production Keshiks. We knew that his woodland wasn't here, so it had to be on this one. We drop our vision here just to get a good idea of what we got going on. And we, at the same time, we're raiding over here on his gold, and we are able to get two villagers killed here. Actually, we killed one on the charge, and we were able to get the second one. Our Khan was hitting around the same time, and that allows us to get that timing in. He's going to react by dropping a barracks, which is the right move. But he's not going to be able to hold this position with just a couple of longbows. One big thing is he does have his TC range. I can almost click it. There we go. Yeah, I figured his TC range was right where this council hall grass was starting, so that's kind of where I was kind of avoiding getting close to. He's trying to collect gold. We're not letting him. While he pushes us out over here, we can leave these 2 Keshiks to harass gold, and we want to take these other Keshiks and go on to his wood line. Got another Keshik on the way, and this is our Khan. We are starting to trade here. The trade is really minimal with 11. We just dropped one trader immediately, and we're sending our market down over here. We do raid over here. We're able to kill 1 villager, but we've lost 2 Keshiks at the same time as well. But 3 villagers for 2 Keshiks this early on, I might think that's a good trade. We're causing a lot of chaos with him. Our trader is idle right now. We're still putting some Keshiks from here. We do have a little bit of extra wood here. We should be dropping a range. There we go. There's a range. And yeah, we're rallying on to food right now. We want to get up to around 12, 14, 15 villages on food to be able to produce constantly from the stable. We should be dropping a there we go production from our stable as well. It's kind of bad that we're not. We have the food for it, so I'm kind of curious why we're floating so much food right now. That's definitely a little bit of a mistake on our part. And we have grouped up our units, but we're missing a big opportunity to raid, I feel like. Yeah, we didn't have to get off of this gold. We could have stayed on this gold, kept fighting here, insisted the fights. So, but we're ahead at this point. We've gotten good damage. We've gotten 3 villager kills, so I feel pretty comfortable in terms of damage got. And we are starting to trade now. Not the best trade in the world, but it is 30 gold per trade. So try to get on the scout. We can't get him. We can't get the dive in. In terms of vision, you guys can see I dropped my scouting falcon with my scout pretty consistently during this match, so I have a really good vision of where he's rotating his troops. I see his spears are over here. I'm going to try to bait them in, and I'm going to move around the backside. He sees us moving. Unfortunately, my falcon finishes up. Not much we can do about that. And we're going to get a nice little catch here on the scout, and unfortunately we do lose a Keshik here. But getting that extra, being able to take out, trading that out for vision, it can sometimes be worth it. We're starting to get Mangite out so we can start pressuring a little bit more consistent here. And we were worried about a counter push and just in general yam and presence for our units, so that's why we dropped this outpost here, just to help. This deer stones, we should probably move up here next to this market. Will probably be a really good idea. So a little bit of a mistake on our part not doing that. We are rallying our knights around the back to try to get a different raid in. We are ahead. He's not pushing us out with his army. So we know that we're way ahead in terms of eco at this point, and that's why we're not over-committing here with our Keshik trying to dive too much and lose too much. He's going to build this wall up, and he does a good job committing some military nearby to help deny it. Unfortunately for him, we are scouting around the back here precisely for walls and trying to get a raid on his wood and gold. And we're coming back here. We're scouting. We're not seeing anything. We're rallying over here to our Kong where we've got vision in the stealth forest, and hopefully he can't see us. Try to get this raid on his gold villager. Successful. Again, 2 more villagers dead, so it's a really big difference here. And we're able to see that he's building this wall at the same time. His army is a little bit forward, a little bit out of position. And when it's not going to be worth losing a Keshik for this Vil because we've already killed a bunch of villagers at this point. So we're just going to fall back, let his army chase us. And instead of taking his army out and about, we're going to go across the map here. And while we go across the map, we're going to hit the other side with this other mass that's mixed. There's a Keshik, a horseman, and a bunch of Mangadai. So they're going to be able to do a lot of good run-by damage here. Bad thing is that these guys immediately start shooting at the house. So I don't get a good jump on them as much as I would have liked. So that's one bad aspect about the Mangadai when you're raiding towards houses and things. We're still rallying troops over here. And we're at the 10.5 minute mark and we're at 7 traders. So that's a good deal right there. One bad thing is those we're only basically producing from one market because it looks like I forgot to hotkey both of them. So a little bit bad on my part there. Again, but this the slight villager lead that we have with 5 villagers killed is now been increased to like 14, 15 villagers because we're trading behind this. So, and the pressure's making him, I think, mess up a little bit on his TC production. So we're trying to run through. We see that he's finished the wall. So we're just going to try to run from these spearmen. Not much we can do about that while we try to harass around the front. We have a decent army here, and we see that his longbow is chasing us, which is good for us. We're going to try to bait his longbows out. We know that his spearmen are chasing over here, and he has no spearmen really. Over here, it's just a longbow mass. We feel pretty comfortable with his army to be able to push that and fight that. The 7 Mangadai against 13 longbows. It's actually winnable with just the raw Mangadai. We would trade out and win, but with the additional Keshik, there would be a really good victory there. Upgrades wise, we've gotten. It looks like we've gotten our Miko upgrades that we wanted to get. It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of like bugged out the UI right now. Yeah, so we do have all of our upgrades that we want. And yeah, we're just trying to find raids where we can, massing a nice force here so we can push in. Again, we're not super pressed about getting good raids in right now because we've already gotten 5 villager kills, which is really big. So we're able to take out 1 more villager. Again, it's a big, losing a Keshik, but again, we're so far ahead at this point, it's definitely worth it. And yeah, we're just slowing him down, making his army chase us, get out of position, and he's just massing up army, but so are we. We've got another big mass here, and while we're running around trying to get damage done, we're running back to this area. Since he walled over here, he's really diligent about his walls here. We wanted to make sure that we didn't get walled out over here, and we're going to go check, and we do see it on the mini-map. And we're going to just, we barely react in time, but luckily we do react in time to be able to stop this this villager. We're able to stop this villager from shutting it down, just barely. And he starts pushing us in the front. But at the same time, we start pushing over here on his gold. We try to keep the raids on him. We run, and we see that his army's here. React a little bit late. We don't see it. We react to the pack order, and we lose 3 units. Basically, we're paying attention. And then we lose these guys, unfortunately, because they were hockeyed in with the rest of our army. So a little bit of a mistake here. But the big thing is here now, he wants to do kind of a base trade situation with his army. He's trying to push us here, and we're just going to fall back. And we do have the production here to just rally more troops in the back and fight this. It is mostly longbows. There are spearmen, so we should be able to build a force to fight this fairly easily. And we do have a force over here harassing villagers, and we kill some more. And we're able to win this fight pretty handily. And the big thing is now we've idled villagers for a really long time. And we've idled his woodvilles for a really long time. So now he's going to be, and he's got 400 or 500 wood. So I'm not sure what he was banking so much wood for, besides just having it. Maybe he wanted it for a ram push or something. But yeah, he's pushed off of it. I mean, I guess he's got enough that he's not end of the world for him. His army's sitting here, but it's inside of our tower range, so we can see. And him not being more aggressive gives us time here to really start cranking out some units. So again, his villagers get back on wood. We raid again. We go a couple more builds, and you can see we're getting a lot of damage done here. He's getting aggressive on our infrastructure. And again, it's not end of the world for us. We're okay here. We are floating a lot of wood here. I would have liked to see a couple villagers drop here, like at least like 2, 3, 4 villagers. I'd say 4 villagers, just to drop here and start building some infrastructure in the back. You know, he's burning this stuff in the front, trying to pick up and move it, which could have been a possibility. We do lose some units here, unfortunately, not paying attention. We trade out those units really poorly. We are building towers on the south side. So that was a really big mistake, this fight. His longbows came up and were able to just snipe down their whole army here. So that was a really big mistake on our part. So he's burning down here, and so that was a big thing. That a little bit of distraction really really messed up our tempo properly. The big plus though is we have a really nice army here, and this is gonna 100% be able to push this back. It's just really, we're just kind of sitting here waiting. Here's this additional infrastructure that I was mentioning that I would have liked to see. It's definitely about time that we do that. Over here again, we raided a little bit. We burned down the house, and that helped house him because now he's housed actually, which is a big deal. And we're just running around. Over here we see his army. We get some damage in, and it's basically just a mass of archers. So if he just retreats from us like this, he's not going to stay and fight. We're going to be able to push forward, and we're just taking map control as he gives it. He's decided to move his army back because I guess he thought he couldn't get a good push in on us, which he really couldn't. If he had committed there, we'd probably kill him. So he's going to decide to turtle, and boom, we're on the trail of his army. We're not giving him too much leeway in terms of space. We could probably be a little bit tighter here, and we do see what's happening here. And we are going to get a nice little raid. We see him trying to get a tower up. Again, no problem here. We're going to try to burn this down real quick. We see his armies here. We don't want to fight under a fully garrisoned tower with his army, so we're just going to back out and rotate around the flank. While we're rotating, we're massing another army over here. We have a lot more infrastructure up, and you can see we have a whole bunch of army in queue. With those 9 military production buildings going at once. 9? No, it's 4 plus 3, so 7. 7 military productions going at once, which is again what we're looking for, just to keep those queues busy and full. We're still trading. We're up to 18 traders, so I would have liked to see a little bit more traders. We might have killed a couple here and there, so it would have been nice to get more traders. I think I was floating a lot of wood there. In part, that was a big issue. And we're able to shut down his food eco a little bit here, so we're constantly just raiding his base. We haven't let him really close up completely his base, even though he's wanted to. And he was starting to get frustrated at this point. He was starting to get kind of chatty in the messages. And so we're hitting from 2 sides. We split his army, and he's made a big mistake here. He's committed only longbows into chasing our army here. And yeah, with only longbows, just a couple of spearmen, we're able to do a lot of damage here on these guys. And he's able to push back this army. Unfortunately, we were trying to get a forward tower here. He does spot it out. And we're going to have to back out here because we're under TC. Not a good fight that we want to take in feudal. In castle, we can take those fights a little bit more securely. And yeah, we're just pushing him back here. We're taking this area, and we kind of have to re-rally, kind of fall back because he pushed us back a little bit. Again, his longbow army is getting dangerously far from his TC. It's kind of at the limit. So we're just going to rotate around the side and try to get a raid around the back here. And hopefully his army rotates with us. Here in the north, we're pretty much consolidating our food to under here. We are picking up these berries just because I didn't want to spend the wood on it. And we're floating a lot of wood. I do end up going for second TC, I believe, but again, this was kind of a bad thing, floating that much wood, especially when you have markets here. We could be queuing market, we could be dropping infrastructure. We've gone up to 4 stables, 7 ranges. So we got 11 infrastructure buildings, so that's good at least. We try to get the burn down here. Again, we can't really fully commit, we have to back out. Over here we run into more units. Unfortunately, again, we do lose our scout here, but we have our con. Keshiks are all super low health, so we're just going to back out here. We get kind of in a bad spot here, because this wall needed to be burned down, really, for me to do this raid properly. So this does a really good job of trapping us here and killing all of our cav here, basically. But we have a big army here in the front, and he's focused microing in the back. And so we're going to take this small window of opportunity, burn that Chawa real quick. The Mangadai mass here is decent enough with 9 to do some good damage here. We see him tapping up. We're not just going to let him tap up for free. He doesn't have any longbows. I thought we would commit there, actually. It's a little bit of a mistake, I think, not committing there a little bit more. We could have taken a little bit more time, a little bit more pressure, killed a couple more units. We still got plenty of units messed up. Army value-wise, we're way ahead. Eco-wise, we're way ahead. And I guess that's the only bad thing with this build that I do is it's hard to truly end. Like, this match is over. Most players would realize that it's over, but they're going to keep playing, so that's just fine. And yeah, it's hard to get a final killing blow because I don't have foot archers to make rams. You know, I had all that wood floating. If this was a foot archer mass and Keshiks, I could stay and ram push and it'd be over. Especially with all these houses here in the front. These would go down and get supply blocked and it'd be over very quickly. Over here, we make a nice little hole in the wall. A little bit unfortunate with our micro here. Get a little bit sloppy. It's partly because we're tapping up with the Kurultai over here. We wanted to tech up to be able to really get good raids under here. He's barely inside of TC, of castle range, network of castle range, but yeah, he does lose quite a few longbows here. He gets baited out. So we're just a lack of micro probably is all it was. We do see our units a little bit too far forward, so we do fall back. And since we are aged up, we're getting veteran Mangadai and veteran Keshiks immediately. That's why, in part, why we pulled our villagers off of wood, so we wouldn't stop our food production, to make sure we could get those upgrades immediately. And in terms of infrastructure, yeah, we're sitting at 11 buildings, so that's really good. Our army's here, Khan's up, and we're putting pressure here as much as we can. Again, and now we're going to take this army. Keshiks have upgraded. Mangadai are still upgrading. Does veteran Mangadai just take that much longer than veteran Keshiks? Because I started them at the same time. Yeah, I started them at the same time, so I don't know why veteran Mangadai takes so much longer than veteran Keshik. Kind of silly, but okay. But we're just taking this army around the back here, and we're bringing our Kurultai to the front, and we're going to start rallying troops to the front. We didn't realize that we had these extra guys here. I think I must have missed that. They're not in a bad spot either, though, kind of in the middle there. So if we get pushed, we can do something there. He starts bringing his army to come over here, so I can get some pot shots on us, get us off this wall. And you see this, we're just going to fall back. It's not going to be worth sitting here fighting. We do have a veteran Mangadai. They're hitting a lot harder on these spearmen. And we're trying to get our upgrades as well. Veteran horsemen, wedge rivets, and superior mobility. Especially once you have the Kurultai, you really need this. Tries to take this small pause in the action to kind of start pushing us here. He's still in feudal though. Our Mangadai pushing here is not a really great fight, but we do realize we have more units in the back, and so they were able to get kind of a sandwich here. It's not the most favorable of fights in terms of numbers. It's kind of a bad trade for us, but we have better eco. 100% I felt like I had better eco, and you can tell we have more than double his eco. We're gonna hit his food here in the back, and yeah, you can try to take this fight and trade a bunch of units, and they traded fairly well, but I can afford the losses versus he can't. So that's a big thing there. So we're getting hit we're fighting under TC here, so it's a bad fight. But again, the real point is here, just fighting units, chewing down his mass. He tries to fight us under Kurultai. Again, we can't get a bunch of horsemen here. We were suffering on gold for a little bit, so that's why we can't get a bunch of horsemen. But they're all veterans, so again, no problem here. A little bit of an overstay here. These Keshiks are soaking up damage, but we don't need to be leaving these guys here. Really big mistake doing so. We do realize finally and back out. The only plus side is we do idle all this food eco for all this time, and you can see that he's suffering on food eco. The only thing he's really doing well on is wood. He's got way too much wood, which he probably should have invested in, like an archery range or some infrastructure for military buildings. So he definitely makes some really big mistakes in terms of that. It might be the pressure too, because we were hitting him pretty constantly with pressure. And yeah, he was just getting constantly pressed here. I think he was kind of realizing it was an end of the cycle, and you know, he decides to tap out. So this is an interesting match. It was a decent match where we did okay here, and it just shows that the trade horse has some viability. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.